Hey, folks, the international break is here, and how might we assess this Chelsea team so far? Huh? Yeah, let's talk about that. What's up? It's your boy, Raj Groves. Believe in Chelsea FC, and man, we got some things to talk about with the first international break here. Like I said, we'll assess this team, and I'll get that from The Athletic, how they did it, man for man. Some key stats and some stat leaders for Chelsea I wanted to talk to you about. FIFA's coming out, so some EA Sports ratings, player ratings came out. So we want to see who's the highest ranked Chelsea players and who did they rank a little too low. Let's start with what The Athletic calls their assessment of the 33 main players or so of Chelsea. Now, we're not going to do all 33 that got to play, but we'll take a look at most of them quickly. So, this is from The Athletic, of course. The international break, a good time to kind of check where you are. Okay, check the status lights, engine light on. Maybe some areas it is, maybe it isn't. All right, let's start with goalkeepers. Robert Sanchez. Of course, Maresca said that was his guy early. Some didn't believe it, but he is. And according to The Athletic, here's what they wrote up about him. They say they begin the season as Maresca's first choice in the Premier League, but he could easily lose that status if his form dips below some mixed early performances. I'd say that's accurate, wouldn't you? Some mixed bag of sorts for Robert Sanchez. We've seen the good, the bad, not so much the ugly yet, where he really just gives up the ball in a really dangerous area. We haven't seen all that yet, but he's been all right. That's the best I could say for him. What about his backup, Jorgensen? So he made his first Chelsea appearance in the Conference League playoff against Servette, the double leg, and committed a bad error that conceded a goal in the second leg. And he may be in goal for some domestic cups too, but we expect that, right? He's going to be the backup playing the cup games and this and that. And they say he will get some opportunities to push Sanchez. See how far he can push him, as I believe he is limited as well. Both our goalies are just all right. We know that. The defenders, we'll start at center back. And they start with Disassi. They say sitting at the bottom of Maresca's senior center back pecking order. And injuries mean he could be deployed more often at right back, where he looks uncomfortable. We've seen a glimpse of that last season at Disassi at right back, and it ain't cool. But I've got an alternative at right back that I heard on word of the street that we may deploy this season. So we don't have to go to Disassi if Reece James and Malo Gusto are indeed going to miss some extended time. With Reece James, deja vu. Water is wet in other news. All right, let's go to Tosin, who I had high hopes for. He hasn't started the main Premier League games yet, but he says he sits below Fofana on the right side center back depth chart. But Maresca will turn to him if the Frenchman's ability becomes a problem again. And of course, he's talking about Fofana's health. If that's an issue, Maresca will not hesitate in turning to Tosin, who we signed the veteran of a free transfer. Badiashile, he's regarded as a backup to Levi Colwell and the left-sided center back to start the season. And they call him an elegant defender undermined by bad mental lapses. Amen. This, of course, is from The Athletic, just reading their assessment of Chelsea's squad. And first choice, man, I have high hopes for. Love his potential. Well, we're not fully seeing it yet, but that happens. You need time to grow, is Colwell. Now, they say he'll start games that matter for Chelsea whenever he's fit. And his partnership with Fofana has promise. I agree. A lot of potential there on paper. Potential. But we're seeing growing pains, ain't we? He said he's Maresca's best passer out of defense. And I would agree there. If you watch closely, Colwell has he sees stuff. He's seeing the lane and he's getting that ball forward. I like what he can do back there. All right. So those are the center backs mainly. Now let's go to the back, the left and right back. Let's see. What do we have here? Cucurella, of course. Darling, that has endured himself to us over the last year. Not even a full year yet. He started not in everyone's doghouse, but I always liked this hustle. But anyway, a clear starter for a left back after a Golden Euro 2024, though he has not been asked to drift into the midfield by Maresca as often as he was with Poch's final weeks. I agree. Modesta's been doing that from the right side with Gusto mainly drifting in. And I thought it would be the left like he normally does, but we haven't seen it as much. We saw it in the Euro, so a bit of a surprise. But Kukurea is still playing well. He leads Chelsea in a stat I'll go over later. Have some fun there. Let's see. What do we got? The other Chilwell, of course. We're not even going to go over it. Of course, he's really not on the squad. Reece James. Now, they say he should be a key player under Modesta, but his durability remains a huge question mark. Chelsea needs to fit him if Gusto faces a long spell on the sideline. So we need him fit. That's what they meant by fit him. And I don't know, I don't count on Reece James being fit. Not for long, at least. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later on another pod about his availability, Reece James, and what we should do there. Give you a hint. I'd rather be a year early than a year late. Get stuck. But anyway, so that's what he says of Reece James. We'll see. We were hoping after this suspension was over, he would return after the international break, but that doesn't look likely. All right, Malo Gusto says one of Chelsea's best recent signings. Agreed. Who has lessened the impact of Reece James' frequent injuries. Agreed again. He said he's so good on the ball that he's often asked to invert into the midfield by Maresca. And that was a surprise. We thought it'd be the left side, but we saw in the preseason it was indeed the right side. Reece James even did it. And I mentioned on an earlier podcast on a preseason, Reece James looked not lost, but a bit confused. Like when the change of possession, when to get back in the position on defense or when to keep inverting as a defensive mid. So we'll have to see. That's an experiment. We'll have to see how long and how far that goes. Renato Vega, who I like the $14 million bargain. They say he intrigues with his blend of size, athleticism, and technique as an inverting left back, but is often rash in the tackle. And at 21 years old, he's not yet ready to be a Premier League starter yet. I agree. He's a squad player. I don't think he's a starter, Vega, but I do like his portfolio, and I'm hoping he can fit into the system. Okay, now let's get into the midfielders. This is interesting. We seem to remember before I was like, we're overloaded at this position. But Lavia, who I was expecting, I called him milk carton, took him off the milk carton. He's been injured. Interesting thoughts on Dewsbury Hall from The Athletic. But let's start with the two main starters, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. With Caicedo, he's tasked with being the deepest of Chelsea's midfielders, and he will need proper support if Maresca is to find his midfield balance. Caicedo seems to work well with Lavia. He does when we see Lavia, but he's hurt again. Now, what I mentioned earlier about a solution at right back if Reece James and Malo Gusto are out, word on the street is that Caicedo could be deployed at the right back. And then, of course, he'll invert when we have possession and move forward. And it's a position he has played before. So don't be surprised if we see Caicedo deployed at right back, perhaps more comfortable than Disasi, if Reece James and Malo Gusto has to miss extended time. So Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea's captain on the pitch in the absence of Reece James, he said, The Athletic says is a key player for Maresca, though his best position in the Italian system remains a mystery. What would you say? I fear when Enzo Fernandez gets too far deep ahead, he has trouble recovering because, he ain't the fastest cat on the pitch, is he? But his passing prowess makes him a dangerous weapon moving forward. So what do we do there? So The Athletic is saying it's a mystery. How is he best fit in Maresca's system? We'll have to see. Chukwuemeka, they say, ended the summer on a transfer uncertainty by remaining at Chelsea and will be reintegrated. The 20-year-old is a big talent, but how ready is he to play given his lack of preseason minutes? Good point. Now, here's an interesting one on Dewsbury Hall. They say he looks short of full fitness following an ankle injury sustained at Leicester City, and he has underwhelmed. Thought he had a couple good moments in the preseason where I was like, okay, obviously he's replacing Gallagher. But the Athletic goes on to say he projects as a squad player. So not making good early impression is Dewsbury Hall, but could be linked to an ankle injury. How old is that? And will that linger? That's the type of stuff that worries me. All right, Cassidy, we're not going to talk about. It's part of the first team squad, but he ain't getting minutes again. What the hell did we bring him back last year from on loan if we're not going to play him? I don't get that. We won't talk about Kellerman. Doesn't matter. Lavia, we did, of course, waiting to see him get to full fitness. But damn, Lavia had a great preseason. That's why it's so disappointing not to see him on the pitch right now. All right, let's go to the forwards, all right? We'll just go in any particular order that the Athletic has. And, of course, we are assessing Chelsea's squad at the international break. Pedro Neto didn't have his best start. We saw that. But, hey, he's fitting in with the new team. The Athletic says he's set to be Chelsea's undisputed starter on the left flank until the loan of Jadon Sancho. So that muddies the waters a bit, I think. The Athletic also mentions Neto might be more threatening on the right, but has a stiffer competition there. And, of course, that's Nani. And Cole Palmer plays the right still, even though we've been deploying him in the middle. So they're right about that. There's more of a need for Neto on the left side, but with Sancho arriving, we'll see what happens out of the international break. All right, Mudryk. Should I even waste any minutes on what time is it? I'm going to give you 30 seconds, Mudryk. He's likely going to be the biggest loser from Chelsea's attacking recruitment. A wealth of options means Maresca does not need to trust a 23-year-old in any game that matters. Amen. I don't want him anywhere on the pitch in any game that matters. I've seen enough of Mudryk, enough of the experiment starting him. Hopefully with the signings of Neto and Sancho, no more of that. All right, Nani Madueke. All right, had a pretty good preseason, and damn, he's carried it over to the regular season. Here's what the Athletic says about him. Not a clear starter coming into the season, agreed, but his red-hot form is making him impossible to drop. I even had to pick him up on the damn fantasy league. I was trying not to have a bunch of Chelsea cats, and after that, seeing Madueke in that first and second game, I'm like, all right, I got to get him. Anyway, has a clearer path to big minutes if Cole Palmer is deployed centrally, as I just mentioned. I didn't even preview that, but yeah, you have to make room for Nani, right? So Cole plays in the middle, which moves my guy. We'll get to later in Guku on the bench recently, but what are you going to do? Got to have Madueke in there, right? Yao Felix, who'll be used on the left and through the middle of Chelsea's attack, including as a false nine. Of course, since we didn't get a striker behind and ahead of Nicholas Jackson, I guess we can play some false nine here and there. The question is he good enough to start for Maresca in any of those roles? Where would you employ João Felix? On the left or in the middle? Hit me up. Let me know. All right, Nicholas Jackson. His status as a key long-term piece was reinforced by a new contract that commits him to the club until June of 2033. Boy, we'd be like for life with Chelsea. Jackson is expected to start the big games whenever fit, and he's usually fit. Come on, yeah. So say what you will about Jackson, he's available, and so far, it's all right. He leads Chelsea in a stat that I'll mention later as well. Might not be too proud about. All right, Christopher Nguku, who I mentioned earlier, played more in preseason than anyone, but Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, have pushed him out of the Premier League team, which is a shame. But, man, he's a quality option in attacking midfield or up front. I like him in the midfield, but with Nani so hot, you got to put Cole in the middle. So what are we doing with my guy in Guku? It's definitely a log jam there. All right, new signing, Jadon Sancho has a good chance to start regularly in his preferred left wing position if he can build his fitness quickly and convince Maresca with his form. A lot to prove at Chelsea, indeed. And finally, Cole Palmer. What else is there to say about Cole? Maresca has made Chelsea's reigning player of the season, the key to his attack as he was under Poch. So he's playing the same role, the key to the Chelsea attack, just like with Poch. And he'll provide playmaking and scoring on the right and centrally. In other news, water is wet. Oh, can't forget about Mark Yu. He's earmarked for a loan. He was earmarked for a loan if we had got Amarodian or Victor Osimhen, which didn't. So he's a hardworking, enthusiastic, but he does not look ready to help a team with Chelsea's aspirations. I agree with the enthusiasm, love the hard work. We saw that easy goal he missed against the Wolves. I wonder if that gets in the guy's head. It hasn't resulted in as many goals for him as I'd like to see, but I still like his work rate. It almost reminds me of of a Gallagher, but more up front. I hope he's a little more of a technician than that, but we'll see. Then they go on to speak about Tariq George a little bit, Washington, and the other Fofana, David Fofana, but we're not going to get into that as they're not going to be big parts of the team right now. So that's what the Athletic had to say, the assessment of Chelsea so far. What say you? What do you see with this team? Go ahead and smash a like or subscribe. Hit me up in the comments section. More importantly, want to see what you guys think. Let's go. Some quick stats leaders with this team so far. Obviously, goals, Nani. Assists with 4 is Cole Palmer. 3 of them to Nani in that hat trick game for Nani. Those are obvious. All right, here's fun. Top fouls taken. So we've drawn the player that has drawn the most fouls. I call it the top flopper. Still got love for his Cucurella is our top flopper. He has the most fouls drawn. So you kind of need that here and there. And then offsides. Who leads the team in offsides? Quick trivia. If you guessed it's only one player who has 3 of them, it's Nicholas Jackson. 3 offsides. No other Chelsea player has drifted offsides. All right, so that's the stats. Hey, now here's fun. I know we all play FIFA, or most of us at least. Chelsea player rankings in FIFA 25. They have leaked. No surprise up top. Cole Palmer with 85. Now, here's what may surprise you. Right behind Cole Palmer's rating at an 84. And I've been telling y'all about this, man. I've been preaching. Christopher Nguku with an 84. And he can't barely get on the pitch right now. That's how deep we are, man. Oh, EA Sports has Nguku with an 84. My man can't even start in the Premier League game. He's got to wait till the damn bootleg Conference League or Cup games. Now, who do you think is third ranked on Chelsea? On surface, it may surprise you. Actually, he's tied with a few players with the 82 ranking. All right, so let's just go down the order. But when you think about it, this is in not even alphabetical order. All right, whatever order. All right, here we go. We'll start back. Reece James with an 82. Although I wonder what his injury rating is. Lord have mercy, that must be high. Cucurella with an 82. After that red hot Euro, they rank him 82nd. So that's tied for third on Chelsea's squad. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. The midfield that I keep saying on paper is brilliant. Looks wonderful on paper. They also have 82s. All right, so a logjam there. So ranking them very high. Gosh, it's just crazy still. Nguku, the second highest rated player on Chelsea. He can't get on the pitch, at least according to EA Sports. All right. Now, this man is no longer on the squad, but they had Raheem Sterling at an 81. Of course, he's moved on. And for that, I think everyone's happy about that. Okay, so number 80 then, that still plays regularly. A guy I just waxed poetically about as well. Malo Gusto with an 80. Who else has an 80? Yao Felix. So those are the only players with 80 or above, according to EA Sports. And as you know, that fluctuates. It's fluid depending on how they play, how they progress. High potential, excellent potential, exciting prospect, all that stuff. If you play, you know what I'm talking about. If you play career mode. All right. So that's it for 80 and above. Someone I thought they had too low. Let's see. Oh, Levi Kowa at 78. I thought that was a bit low, but maybe it's me just being a sucker for upside, you know. Oh, we didn't mention Nani. Where did they have Nani initially? Of course, I wonder if they'll upgrade this. Oh, man, how far do I got to go down? They got Mudryk at a 77. They got Nani at a 78, just ahead of Mudryk. These are, of course, physical attributes and this and that. But I wonder if they take account mental awareness, because that would make Mudryk drop a lot further down. Oh, another lower, Lavia at 75. That's too low. Come on now. So those are the EA Sports rankings. What do you agree with, disagree with? Let me know.